even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to achieve the desired success of Krishna Prema. Once again, I thank everyone for joining today's Srimad Bhagavatam class. May I know who all joined this morning?
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai, Preeti Dasi from Charlotte. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Preeti Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining and giving your association. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. This is Sita Preeti Devidasi from Pune.
Hare Krishna, Sita Preeti Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining. Nice to hear you and nice to see you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Happy Sankranti, Mataji.
Happy Sankranti, Mataji.
Seeing you, I am getting the festival mood. Otherwise, staying in America, you don't feel the festival mood.
Yes,
Your
yes.
face, I recollected India's. Wow, nice to see you. Thank you so much for bringing that enthusiasm of festival. Hare Bol.
Happy Makar Sankranti.
Happy Makar Sankranti, everyone.
Thank you, Mataji. Wish you the same.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga, to all the devotees here. This is Megha from Naperville. Hare Krishna, happy Makar Sankranti.
Hare Krishna, Megha Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharajas, and all glories to the assembled devotees. This is Tiffany in Pennsylvania. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Tiffany Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to the assembled devotees. Yashmati from Chicago. Happy Makar Sankranti Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Yashmati Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining. Happy Sankranti to you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, Koti Koti Dandavat Pranam to your day and night japa. Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki jai. Vrinda, Dandavat Pranam to all Vaishnava. Haribo.
Hare Krishna, Vrinda Gopika Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining. Hare Krishna. Mataji, you are unmuted.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Shamagori Devidasi from Charlotte.
Hare Krishna, Shamagauri Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. This is Radha from Baltimore. You are looking pretty, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Radha Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj, all glories to assembled devotee. This is Mohini Lakshmi from Detroit. Happy Makar Sankranti to every devotee. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mohini Lakshmi Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining. Happy Sankranti. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharajas. My humble obeisances to you and all the devotees. This is Krishna Kumar Devidasi from Raleigh. Happy Makar Sankranti to everyone.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Kumari Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining. Happy Sankranti. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. This is Radharani Devidasi from Baltimore, looking so beautiful. Wish you a very happy Makara Sankranti, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Radharani Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Nice to see you, Mataji. Happy Sankranti, Mataji. Hare Bol.
Beautiful sari, Mataji, and you are so tired, but you are still looking good. Yeah. Chanting all night.
Hare Hare Krishna Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all the assembled devotees. This is Indulekha Karuna Devi Dasi from Lincoln. Wish you all a very happy Makar Sankranti.
Hare Krishna, Indulekha Karuna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining. And happy Sankranti to you and everyone, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So nice to see so many people on the call.
Yes, Mataji. Putting on their videos. Very nice to see everyone on video. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Valli from Naperville, Chicago. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Valli Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. This is Varsha from Charlotte and happy Makar Sankranti to everyone.
Hare Krishna, Varsha Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining. Happy Sankranti. Hare Krishna. Is there anybody who would like to introduce themselves before we start recording? Hare Krishna, I welcome everyone to Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call. Today we are very fortunate to have His Holiness Bhakti Anugraha Janardan Swami Maharaj to enlighten us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam 5th Canto, Chapter 17, 10th and 11th verse. Before I hand over the call to Maharaj, I would like to hand over it to Tiffany Mataji for giving brief introduction. Hare Krishna, please take over, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. His Holiness Bhakti Anugraha Janardan Swami Maharaj was born in the Philippines. Maharaj is a senior disciple of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. He joined ISKCON in the year 1984 in Toronto, Canada. When Maharaj was 14 years old, he started to get curious about spirituality, and that's when he came in touch with Srila Prabhupada's books. As Maharaj became more and more interested in Srila Prabhupada's books, he insisted his mother get him Bhagavad Gita. However, at the time, he was not able to receive the Gita by mail. So when he moved to Canada in 1980, he could successfully get his first Bhagavad Gita by mail from Los Angeles. Once Maharaj arrived in Toronto, he visited the temple and never left ISKCON after that. He started to live in the temple on rent rather than staying outside, and that's how Maharaj got involved in temple services. His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj recommended making Bhakti Anugraha Janardan Maharaj a member of the Vrindavan Executive Board. And so Maharaj has been serving as Vice President in Vrindavan, India for more than 12 years. Maharaj is an excellent Kirtaniya, and he travels with His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami all over the world to preach Krishna consciousness, especially in Delhi, Vrindavan, and the Philippines. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Maharaj, for joining and giving your association. Please take over the call, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Can you hear me?
Yes, Maharaj, now we can hear you.
All right. Thank you again for your kindness to invite me this meeting today. Good evening from Vrindavan. I know it is morning over there, 7 o'clock in the morning. So, yes. Happy New Year, by the way. Every day is a new year for us, actually.
Thank you, Mommy.
Every day is a new day. But nevertheless, we're in a world where we have to adjust. 2022. Still, pandemic is on, and therefore we're still very far away from each other, but close also at the same time because of this virtual meeting that we are having. So hopefully this year this pandemic will die out for the benefit of everyone, so we can have face-to-face program or meetings. So I will start chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra or the Jai Radha Madhava as the tradition goes. Once again, thank you very much for inviting me, those devotees in North Carolina, USA. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari, Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari, Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari, Yasodhanandana Braja Janaranjana, Yasodhanandana Braja Janaranjana, Yamunatira Vanachari, Yamunatira Vanachari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari, Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari, Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari, Yasodhanandana Braja Janaranjana, Yasodhanandana Braja Janaranjana, Yamunatira Vanachari, Yamunatira Vanachari, Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari, Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe, Jaya Radha Gopinata Radha Gopinata Radhe, Jaya Radha Shama Sundar Radha Shama Sundar Shri Radhe, Jaya Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram, Jaya Gauranitai Gauranitai Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimad Gopal Krishna Prashami Tamani Prabhupada Shasakchamani Prakasha Vitija Bacharang Krivasarigat Pate Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Om Jnana Tirandasya Ganangana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam Shri Gurung Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatan Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadvadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Visakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavanishwari Visabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we continue reading from the 5th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 17, the descent of Ganges, or Mother Ganga. Text number 10. There is no purport here, so we'll continue reading towards the next sloka, 11. But we will recite text 10. Anye cha nadanadyascha varse varse shanti bahuso miro adigiri duhitara satasaha. The synonyms: anye, many others; cha, also; nadha, rivers; nadya, small rivers; cha, and varse varse, in each tract of land; shanti, are bahushaha, of many varieties; meru adigiri duhitara, daughters of the mountains, beginning with Meru; Shatashaha, in the hundreds. Translation: many other rivers, both big and small, flow from the top of Mount Meru. These rivers are like daughters of the mountain, and they flow to the various tracts of land in hundreds of branches. Text 11. Tatrapi bharatam eva barsam karma kshetram anyani asta barsani swarginam Punya sisopaboga stanang bhumani swarga padani vyapadishanti. Again, one more time. Tatrapi varatang eva varsam karma setram anyani asta varsani swarginam punya sisopabogastanani bhomani swarga padani vyapadisanti. Synonyms, word for word meaning: tatra api, out of all of them, Bharatam, known as Bharat Varsha, Eva, certainly, Varsham, the tract of land, Karma Kshetram, the field of activities, Anyani, the others, Astavarshani, 8 tracts of land, Swarginam, of the living entities elevated to the heavenly planets by extraordinary pious activities. Punya, of the results of pious activities. Sesa, the remainder. Upaboga stanani, the places for material enjoyment. Bhaumani swargapadani, as the heavenly places on earth. Vyapadishanti, they designate. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The heavenly places, translation first. Among the 9 Varsas, the tract of land known as Bharat Varsha is understood to be the field of fruitive activities. Learned scholars and saintly persons declare the other 8 Varsas to be meant for very highly elevated pious persons. Upon returning from the heavenly planets, they enjoy the remaining results of their pious activities in these 8 earthly Varsas. Purport. The heavenly places of enjoyment are divided into 3 groups: the celestial heavenly planets, the heavenly places on earth, and the Bila heavenly places, which are found in the lower regions. Among these 3 classes of heavenly places, Bhoma Swarga Padhani, the heavenly places on earth are the 8 Varsas, other than Bharat Varsha. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, text 21, Krishna says, Kshini punyi maratyalokam vishanti. When the persons living in the heavenly planets exhaust the results of their pious activities, they return to this earth. In this way, they are elevated to the heavenly planets, and then they again fall to the earthly planets. This process is known as Brahmanda Brahmana, wandering up and down throughout the universes. Those who are intelligent, in other words, those who have not lost their intelligence, do not involve themselves in this process of wandering up and down. They take to the devotional service of the Lord so that they can ultimately penetrate the covering of this universe and enter the spiritual kingdom. Then they are situated on one of the planets known as Vaikuntha-loka, or still higher, Krishna-loka, Goloka Vrindavan. A devotee is never caught in the process of being promoted to the heavenly planets and again coming down. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, E rupe pramanda brahmite kono bhagavan jeev Guru Krishna prasade pai bhakti lata bij. Among all the living entities wandering throughout the universe, one who is most fortunate comes in contact with a representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and thus gets the opportunity to execute devotional service. Those who are sincerely seeking the favor of Krishna come in contact with a guru, a bona fide representative of Krishna. The Mayavadis indulging in mental speculation and the karmis desiring the results of their actions cannot become gurus. A guru must be a direct representative of Krishna who distributes the instructions of Krishna without any change. Thus, only the most fortunate persons come in contact with the guru, as confirmed in the Vedic literatures. Tad vijnanartam saguro iva avigachet. One has to search out a guru to understand the affairs of the spiritual world. Srimad Bhagavatam also confirms this point. Tasmat gurum prapadyeta jignasu shreya uttamam. One who is very interested in understanding the activities in the spiritual world must search out a guru, a bona fide representative of Krishna. From all angles of vision, therefore, the word guru is especially meant for the bona fide representative of Krishna and no one else. Padma Purana states, Avaishnavo Guru Nashat. One who is not a Vaishnava or who is not a representative of Krishna cannot be a guru. Even the most qualified Brahmana cannot become a guru if he is not a representative of Krishna. Brahmanas are supposed to acquire 6 kinds of auspicious qualifications. They become very learned scholars, patan, and very qualified teachers, patan. They become expert in worshipping the Lord or the demigods, yajana, and they teach others how to execute this worship, yajana. They qualify themselves as bona fide persons to receive alms from others, pratigraha, and they distribute the wealth in charity, dana. Yet even a brahmana possessing these qualifications cannot become a guru unless he is the representative of Krishna. Guru Nashat. Vaishnava Sapacho Guru. But a Vaishnava, a bona fide representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, can become a guru even if he is Swapacha, a member of a family of dog eaters. Of the 3 divisions of heavenly planets, Swarga, Loka, Bhoma, Swarga, is sometimes accepted as a tract of land in Bharatvarsha known as Kashmir. In this region, there are certainly good facilities for material sense enjoyment, but this is not the business of a pure transcendentalist. Rupa Goswami describes the engagement of a pure transcendentalist as follows. Anya bilasita sunyam jnana karma dhyana britam anukulyena krishnanu shilanam bhaktir uttama. One should render transcendental loving service to the Supreme Lord Krishna favorably and without desire for material profit or gain through fruitive activities or philosophical speculation. That is called pure devotional service. Those who fully engage in devotional service to Krishna just to please him are not interested in the three divisions of heavenly places, namely Divya Swarga, Bhoma Swarga, and Bila Swarga. Hare Krishna. So we read again the translation. You are putting the translation? Yes. Text 11. Among the 9 Varsas, the tract of land known as Bharat Varsa is understood to be the field of fruitive activities. Learned scholars and saintly persons declare the other 8 Varsas to be meant for very highly elevated pious persons. After returning from the heavenly planets, they enjoy the remaining results of their pious activities in these 8 Varsas. Okay, this is a very interesting subject. We're talking about the descent of Ganga from the celestial sky, having the coverings of the universe being pierced by the toe of Lord Vamana when he was given 3 steps of land by Bali Maharaj. The third step, first step covered half of the universe, and the second step covered the coverings of the universe, and actually he pierced. There was the flow of Ganga happened in that way. So Ganga is meant to purify the 3 worlds, upper, lower, middle planetary systems being touched by the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, Lord Vamana, the dwarf incarnation of the Supreme Lord. So now the description whereby the Ganges river is flowing, is passing to many places in the universe, even Mount Meru, which is the mountain up in the higher planetary systems, or the Swargaloka, where the demigods resides. And now, before touching, then it touched the land where we are right now, the Bharat Varsha, or the earthly planet, as it describes here in the text of 11. Yes, Bharat Varsha, Bharatam. The planet is called Bharat also. The description in the 5th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam is that the structure of the universe comprises of different islands. These different islands, one of them is our earthly planet. It's a tract of land where it is considered as also Mrityaloka, the planet or the plane whereby the death is there. Of course, there is death everywhere in the universe, in the material world specifically, even from the highest planetary system where Lord Brahma resides, Brahmaloka, or we call it also Satyaloka. And Lord Brahma also gave up his body after 311 trillion years. That is his 100 years. everyone lives for 100 years, just as a reference. And we also supposed to live 100 years, or in such a yuga, they used to live also for 100 years, but their 100 years means 100,000 years. And then in Treta Yuga, 10,000 years, and then in Dwapara Yuga is 1,000 years, and then in Kali Yuga is 100 years. But also, relatively, it is 100 years each yuga, but the expanse of time is greater in different yugas. So, yes, Bharat Varsha, this is Varsham, tract of land. Different islands, and different oceans also, as in the 5th canto. In the many places in the scriptures, it mentions also how this different structure of the universe is described, whereby it'll be shown in our Temple of Vedic Planetarium. We're going to have a tour of the universe once it is finished. The different structures of different levels of existence. It says 14 planetary systems, 7 higher and 7 lower, and we are in the middle planetary system. Many scriptures like resources, or the sources where they get information, so Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavad Purana, Brahma Samhita, and many of our scholars in our movement also, like Drutakarma Prabhu or Sadaputa Prabhu or Danavir Maharaj, they did a lot of research and Puranic cosmology, and also how we'll be able to see it. We'll be surprised. I'm sure they'll surprise us. But nothing to be surprised, because also it is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the 5th canto. The journey of the jiva, that means the jiva. When I say I means the jiva, not the body. Like you say, I am not this body.
And you got a VRN.
Just 1 second. I get a call from... Anyway, I can call him later. Panchagora Prabhu, I have a class. I can call you later. Haribol. Sorry. Haribol. Hare Krishna. Our dear president of Vrindavan. Okay, so yes, when I say I, that means the jiva, the spirit soul. When I say I, it's not the body. So I've been traveling since time immemorial, parts and parcel, eternal servant of the Supreme Lord, Lord Krishna. My spiritual form, spiritual body, is also similar in form to any of the material bodies in the material world, because this is a reflection. The material world is a reflection of the spiritual world, as says in the Bhagavad Gita. It's like a banyan tree, or a tree which is reflected in a river. It's upside down. The roots are on the top, and the leaves and the twigs are downward. Or we can see that it's called asbata, or the banyan tree. So yes, my nature is Satchidananda, full of knowledge, bliss, and eternity. And although I could stay in the spiritual world with the association, loving company of the Supreme Lord, and participate in his lila, but somehow, due to my minute independence or free will, I decided to explore the material world. And thus my journey begins. Somehow or other, I have come now in this material world, which is I'm expecting to be happy, separate from the Supreme Lord, but I'm not able to fully satisfy myself. I'm still hankering for happiness, which is everlasting, full of knowledge and bliss, always increasing, full of knowledge and eternity. But somehow I'm not able to do that. So I'm waiting when will I go back to the spiritual world. But while being in the material world, I become an illusion. This is the world of illusion, Maya. Somehow or other, I've been in journey for many lifetimes in different species of life, going here and there, not just in this universe alone, but I go also to different universes. Some universes are bigger than others. Just like we've heard that story where when Lord Brahma, our first living being, Jiva, in our universe, he came he manifests from the lotus flower, which is connected to the navel of Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. And he has 4 heads. So when he came to see Lord Krishna in Dwarka, when he tried to enter the gate, the doorkeepers asked him, "Who are you?" I'm Lord Brahma. I'm Lord Brahma, the father of the Char Kumars, the 4 Kumaras. So he went, the doorkeepers went to see Lord Krishna to inform that there is this Lord Brahma. Then that's why he says, so ask him who's Lord Brahma he is. So this was the reply. And Lord Brahma was surprised. Hey, I thought I'm the only one, Lord Brahma. So he was let inside the palace of Lord Krishna, and lo and behold, he saw and darshan of so many Lord Brahmas, different Lord Brahmas coming from different universes. Our universe is the smallest. It's 4 billion miles in diameter from one end to the other end. But then other Lord Brahmas is like 100 heads, 1,000 heads, 10,000 heads. According to the size of the universe that they manage, then Lord Brahma has more heads in proportion. So, yes, the Super Soul is always with me wherever I go, either in lower species of life, animal form, or even as having the 2-arm form also, human form, residing in the heavenly planets. It says here in the purport there are 3 groups of heavenly places of enjoyment, so-called enjoyment. The enjoyment here in the material world is temporary. It has a beginning, has a middle, and has an end. And usually the enjoyment, not usually, but mostly, if not all, tastes like nectar in the beginning, and then in the end it's like poison. We want to enjoy, but that enjoyment that we derive from enjoying the sense objects with our senses, actually we enjoy for a few moments only, but then the reaction is far greater. The length that we have to suffer repeated birth and death again and again and again. So this is what he called Samsara. So I've been going back and forth like in a roller coaster, up and down, going to so many species of life, 8,400,000 species of life. Sometimes like a tree, sometimes an insect, sometimes an aquatic, sometimes as a mammal, sometimes as human form, sometimes a heavenly bodies in the heavenly skies. So here it says 3 groups: celestial heavenly planets, the heavenly places on earth, and the Bila heavenly places. Even in the lower regions, there are some places where it's heavenly because the pleasure is there. Usually other religions is, oh, they just want to reach the heaven, because for them heaven or nirvana or the other world is a place where, yeah, full of pleasure, no anxiety. Ultimately in our philosophy, Vaishnava philosophy, heaven means Vaikunta, where there is no anxiety. But in other religions, their heaven means they want to reach that heaven, but they don't know how to do it. They don't know the process. They think that just being good, you will reach the heaven. You will have luxuriously having a good time, having many facilities for enjoyment. This is their considered as heaven, or up in the sky. You must have seen some pictures of being in heaven. There's clouds, and then there's some angels, and those angels usually like they are young kids with doesn't have any body. You can only see half of their bodies, and they also have wings. So once you reach that place, that is heaven for them. But this is not according to our philosophy. There's a lot of variegatedness. The life that is there in the spiritual world. When we in our philosophy, when we say heaven means the spiritual world, but for them the heaven means still in the material world. Still in the material world. It's not really like penetrating the coverings of the universe. So there is this celestial heavenly planets where the demigods resides, Lord Brahma, King Indra. There are 33 million demigods. They are considered as the administrators of our universe, so they live in a higher plane of existence. Whether they live longer than we do, they're not affected by even. They also live their bodies. It's a post. The demigods, that is position. It's like it says that if one lives 100 lifetimes of pious activities, then one can be Lord Brahma. Actually, when I first come to the material world, the first body that I acquired is that of Lord Brahma. That's what the scripture says. And then from there, if I have perfected somehow or other, I understood the purpose of being in the material world, to follow the instructions of the Supreme Lord, be His surrendered servant, only to please Him, then I can go back to the spiritual world. Otherwise, I don't have to, and I will not be able to fulfill that being a pure soul, a pure devotee. We are pure, of course, but we became covered up having come in contact with the material energy. Then I'll take birth in Muniloka. Muniloka means these different levels again of the heavenly planets, Tapaloka, Janaloka, Satyaloka, and all these places. where the facilities for sense enjoyment is quite higher than the heavenly places on earth. Prabhupada mentions here the heavenly place on earth, in our existence, earthly planet, is in Kashmir. Kashmir. That's in India, part of India, Jammu and Kashmir. I've never been there, but I've heard, and we've seen some photos whereby very nice place, the atmosphere, heavenly. Prabhupada says also Hawaii is next to the heavenly planets, where people are living very happily, so-called happy, because the weather is always nice, lots of fruits, lots of palm trees, coconuts. If you have not been to Hawaii or Kashmir, if you've seen postcards, those who have been there probably sent you a postcard, and you'll see a blue sky and people are drinking pina colada, and all this. It's a very exotic place. So in the lower planetary systems also, there is also what you call bila, heavenly places, where the demons resides. Demons. And it says in the Shastras that actually their sense enjoyment is far better than the enjoyment of the demigods in the heavenly planets, because their sense enjoyment there is uninterrupted. No one disturbs them there. The demigods doesn't come to the lower planetary systems to disturb them. But of course, it will end also after some time. So, yes, but that is not the purpose, to just remain there, because after some time, one has to come back again to the earthly planet, to the Bharat Varsha, Bharat Bhumi. Our planet is named after King Bharat. So those who are intelligent, says Prabhupada says, those who are intelligent, in other words, those who have not lost their intelligence, do not involve themselves in the process of wandering up and down. Again, why do we have to go and try to reach that place where you have to come down again? There is an end. An intelligent person would like to make a permanent solution for the real problems of life. And what are they? Birth, death, old age, and disease. So wherever we go, other places, maybe prolonged life. The life is more in terms of years, but still want us to come down again. And here, come down again to this place of fruitive activities, Bharat Varsha. And those who are intelligent, they will take up to the process of devotional service to the Lord. Then, ultimately, they will be able to penetrate the coverings. It says that our universe is covered up by these different material energies, and one layer is 10 times thicker than the others. And it's millions of yojanas. As we've heard, 4 billion miles in diameter. So the thickness is like, if you do half of that, that means 2 billion. And then before you penetrate and get out of this, which is the thickest, is false ego, the ego, ahankar. That is the thickest of them all to penetrate. That's why to become successful in spiritual life, we have to curtail our false ego, the identity, misidentification that we are the body. We're spirit souls. We are all servants of the Supreme Lord. Gopi Bhartu Padakamalayur Dasha 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 Anudas. We are eternally servants of the Supreme Lord. And Krishna is the supreme, and my duty is to serve him. So an intelligent person, that means a devotee, is never caught in the process of this going back and forth. Even up to the heavenly planets, celestial heavenly planets, is no use. As Prabhupada also mentions on some occasions, that my disciples, they just want to go to the heavenly planets. Because that is a tendency. We want to enjoy. But real enjoyment cannot be found in the material world. That is the rubber stamp in the Bhagavad Gita. Dukkhalayam asasvatam. This place is full of miseries and sufferings. And due to its temporary nature, we cannot really enjoy. The jivas, I am eternal, and therefore I cannot exist in a world which is temporary. It doesn't match. It's like oil and water. It doesn't go together. You have to have the same nature or reach that same nature as I am. Because I am spirit soul. I am superior in this inert matter, material world. I can only exist and be satisfied and happy when I reach the destination which is of the same nature as I have. Satchit Ananda, full of knowledge, bliss, and eternity. So we've been going back and forth, and then one becomes fortunate. Then when one goes back and forth, and he thought that, well, nothing is happening. Oh, I have to end this. I need to do something about this. I'm trying my best, but I cannot fulfill that desire to really be happy. Then Krishna as Paramatma, Super Soul within our hearts, who is accompanying me in different species of life, opens up the door. When we have come to that conclusion that yes, I need help. Oh God, please help me. Find me a way how to end all of these miseries and sufferings. Then He will send His pure representative. Rupe Brahmanda Brahmite Kono Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasadi Pai Bhaktilata Bij. The living entities is wandering not just in this universe, Brahmanda or Brahmande, so many universes. By the mercy of the Supreme Lord, one becomes fortunate and he will meet a bona fide representative, the Guru or the spiritual master. The Guru is the one who is the external representative of Paramatma or Lord Krishna. There is Chaitya Guru, Paramatma within my heart, and also there is the external feature of the Paramatma or the Supreme Lord, because we cannot, in our impure state, I cannot be with Lord Krishna immediately. I have to go through his bona fide representative, the spiritual master. He's the via medium whereby I will be able to someday will see Lord Krishna face to face. So there's no difference between the Supreme Lord and the spiritual master. But the spiritual master doesn't say, I am Krishna. He is a servant of Krishna, he will say. I'm a servant of Krishna. And we serve Lord Krishna through the spiritual master, because we cannot serve Krishna directly. Even while doing artik or puja, worshipping the Lord, we are also doing the worship of the Lord on behalf of the spiritual master. Ultimately, when you wave the fan, you're doing it on behalf of the spiritual master. It is not me directly doing the fanning of the Lord. I fan the Lord on behalf of this representative of the Supreme Lord. So I have to follow his instructions in toto. I have to surrender unto him. This is how I show my surrender to Lord Krishna, by surrendering to my spiritual master's instructions, following his guidance, knowingly that being in contact with the spiritual master is also being the representative, is like I'm also in contact with the Supreme Lord. And the first qualification of the disciple, my first qualification should be to inquire from the spiritual master. I have to search of a genuine guru. If my purpose is sincere, Krishna will send me the spiritual master, and then I will inquire from him to dispel the doubts that I have. And in this way, the relationship, I have to also serve him menially. Don't ask question with like in a sense that I just want to challenge him, but seriously asking questions. And that guru can be, it doesn't matter which background he came from previous life. He could be born in a family of dog eaters. Prabhupada says here, sapaka cha. He can be, but by purification, by following also. To be a good guru, one must be a good disciple. If he is following also in toto, 100% his own spiritual master, then one day he'll become qualified also to teach others and show others how to go back home, back to Godhead. So as Prabhupada says, even the most qualified Brahmana cannot become a guru if he is not a representative of Krishna. But even a low class, if he is actually following the instructions of his Guru Maharaj and a devotee of Lord Krishna, then he is considered to be also as a guru. Right? So Brahmanas, usually the Brahmanas, those who are in the mode of goodness, they are considered to be qualified ultimately to be teachers or spiritual master. So, Vaishnava Sopacha Guru, but a Vaishnava, a bona fide representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, can become a guru even if he is Swapacha, a member of the family of dog eaters. So yes, we're so fortunate, somehow or other, we are in this line of disciplic succession coming from Lord Brahma after given instruction by the Supreme Lord within his heart. Tene Brahma Hrida Adaya Kavaye. He is the first living being and he is the guru in our disciplic succession. Ultimately, our guru is Lord Krishna because the knowledge came from Lord Krishna, instructed to Lord Brahma in his heart. Brahma Madhva Gaudiya. That means Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Madhvacharya. Gaudiya Sampradaya. This is our line of disciplic successions. There are 4 lines of disciplic successions, and we are one of the bona fide. There is the Sri Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya, and Kumar Sampradaya. Rudra, yes, Sri, and then we are also Brahmamadva Gaudiya Sampradaya. So, this is how it goes. One can only attain pure devotional service if one is connected in one of these 4 lines of disciplic successions, and purpose is the same, but we are in special category in a sense because of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who came 500 years ago, who spread love of Godhead freely without asking for any special qualifications. Just chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, the Yuga Dharma, in this day and age, and perform practical devotional service. This is how we can please the Supreme Lord and His pure representative. And ultimately, there's no need to go to these 3 different divisions of heavenly planets or places. Just go directly towards the supreme goal, which is the highest Braja Prem Krishna Loka. Hare Krishna. So we stop here. Are there any questions or points?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Ram.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Maharaj. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. What a beautiful class, Maharaj. Thank you so much. In such a short class, you covered so many points. Pastime of Lord Brahma, where so many Brahmas come with 10,000s of heads, and the pastimes of holy river Ganga connected to Bali Maharaj pastimes. You explained about Indra and about 33 million demigods, how they live there, where we don't want to go. We want to just go and serve Krishna. And I love when you said we should come out of misidentification that we are the body, but we should understand we are the spirit soul, and we can only be happy in the devotional service. What a beautiful class, Maharaj. Thank you so much, Maharaj, for such an enlightening class. Dear devotees, if anybody has any questions or realizations, please go ahead.
They can raise their hands, or they can put in the chat box their question.
Indulekha Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. What a wonderful session, Maharaj. So many wonderful points. It was so interesting how you mentioned that we start off by being the Lord Brahma in a particular universe. And from there we have come down to the state. So it is such a miserable situation. And
not miserable, horrible. That's the right word. Horrible. We became worms. We became worms also. We just get out from there.
Yes. So my question is regarding, you mentioned very beautiful point that when we are offering Arati, we are offering on behalf of our spiritual master. Can you please elaborate on that?
Huh?
Can you please elaborate on that?
You are, it's like before you do Artik, you ask permission from Guru Maharaj to do this. And you're doing it. There's a prayer in the when you enter the altar, you identify that you are not this body, you're a spirit soul, and you are doing this on behalf of your spiritual master. It's like you are there, you're doing it, but you're not really doing it directly. It's like when you offer boga to the Lord, do you offer directly to Lord Krishna?
No, Maharaj. We offer
Where
to
do
our
you offer
spiritual.
first?
To
There
our
you
spiritual.
go. There you go. So similarly, all of these things that you offer, this is on the altar in our temples. Okay, even at home also, you should also meditate that, oh, my Guru Maharaj, please, I'm doing this on your behalf. I'm offering this on your behalf. It's like when devotees also give donations on behalf of my Guru Maharaj. I'm giving this donation. Do you understand?
Yes, Maharaj. Yes, it makes sense, Maharaj.
It
Thank you
makes
so much.
sense because we cannot do it directly.
We
We are
cannot directly
impure.
approach the Lord. We
We are
have to go.
impure. Our spiritual master is pure. So he is the one who can actually offer. But after some time doing this, you also become perfect. Archana Siddhi. You will
Okay.
reach this perfection of deity worship. And then ultimately, one day, we'll be offering garlands or ghee lamp directly through our spiritual master again. We cannot jump over. That's the whole point here. You cannot jump over the guru, the spiritual master. We should think like that. This is our meditation when we do archana. Okay?
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you very
It
much.
makes
Yes.
sense? It makes sense, right?
Yes, absolutely. So I have heard that we do it through the spiritual master. Whatever we are offering, we offer through the spiritual master. So
Right.
on behalf of the
On
spiritual
his
master,
behalf.
this was, I
Yeah.
didn't have that understanding. But thank you so much, Maharaj. Very,
Okay.
very good.
Good, good. Anything else?
Shamadoli Mataji, please go.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my
Hare Krishna.
Glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Maharaj, for your wonderful association and very, very beautiful class. Maharaj, you said people don't have understanding of going to spiritual world. They
Yeah.
just end up, they think like, heaven is the ultimate goal.
Yes.
But what if they know that we have to go to the spiritual world and serve the Lord there? What
But
they
they
think?
don't have the, yeah, I understand you. But they don't have the means. This is
Yeah,
a science. It is a science. You cannot just you cannot just enter the spiritual world just by thinking. You
yeah,
have to do practical. So there's a certain ways. That's why the acharyas has written many books like the Hari Bhakti Vilas, how to become a devotee. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came. How to become a devotee. How to invoke, uncover these loving propensities that we have. I cannot just say I love God and God is great, but that is not enough. I want to be with God. So how do you do it? How God is great. And this is what we do every day. We hear about Harikatha. We chant Hare Krishna. We perform practical service. Then our love becomes developed. You cannot just say, I love God, but that is no substance. It's shallow. It's like vacuum. It doesn't have anything inside. When you say, I love God, so how do you love God? How do you show you love God? Some say, oh, I love God by helping people, by feeding the poor, building hospitals, giving shelter to the homeless. This is not loving God. Loving God means performing these 9 processes of devotional service, or any one of them. This is how we can develop love of God. Otherwise, it is sentimentalism only. Right?
yes, Maharaj.
You
Thank you so
follow?
much.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
love God, but I want to kill others because my religion is the best. They said like this, right? I love God. All glories to my God, but I don't care to anybody. Is that loving God?
No.
Yeah. So, when you love God, you love everyone, even an insect. But other religions, no. They said, we are the supreme. You are not with us, to the hell with you. We kill you. Is that loving God? Are you be able to attain heaven? Or whatever, spiritual world? No. It's not possible. Isn't it?
Yes, Maharaj.
What if one has no spiritual master? There is one question here. Well, you have to search for one. If you're serious about spiritual life, you need a guru. It's like if you want to learn music, let's say violin. I mean, you need to watch also. You need to see how it's being done, how the violin works. You know, you need a guru in anything. You need a teacher if you want to learn anything, even, crochet, how to, everything, how to sew, everything. So in spiritual life, if you are serious, you need a spiritual master. You need a guru. You cannot do it without one. Unless Krishna comes directly. But then you have to be a very special soul to get that mercy of Lord Krishna or Lord Chaitanya. So you need guru, okay, Janki? Anything else? Can I have a show of the participants of this session, of this meeting? All I've seen are names. I've seen Raj, I've seen Subilas, or Shamgori. Yes, now I'm seeing all the lotus faces now. Please, I want to see that you are there with us, not just your name. Good, good. Good morning to everyone. To North Carolina's devotees and different places in the East Coast.
Yeah, I think they are from all over America.
All over North America? Yes, good.
Yeah, and Raj Prabhu is from Canada.
Oh, Subilas Prabhu? Okay. Now one by one, all the bright faces are coming out. I've been with you. You have seen me for like almost an hour, so I want to see you for a few seconds. Very good, very good. Prabhupada is correct. Most of the participants are Matajis. When it comes to spiritual life, they are more serious than men. You can see, huh? It's okay. Maybe they're ready to go to work, so no problem. And you are there. So that's good. Now I'm seeing one by one. So I'm happy to be with you again, once again, in this auspicious new year, 2022. Hopefully the pandemic will die out soon. Hopefully, many are getting infected of this, but it's a little milder than the previous one. And prediction is that it'll all died out by February. So Krishna willing, maybe we'll see you in person in summertime. Planning to go to North America this coming summer. So maybe
Please come to North Carolina, Maharaj.
Maybe we can swing over there. Well, I've been invited in Baltimore already, so
Yes.
I don't think it's not that far from.
Yeah,
North
it's not
Carolina.
that far from Baltimore.
Yeah.
So you can come to North Carolina.
Okay, sure. Thank you very much for your kind association.
Thank you, Maharaj. Vrinda Gopika
Hope to see you again.
Thank you,
This
Maharaj.
is good that you're having a meeting every day. This is very healthy spiritually.
Yes,
You're making advancement in this way, slowly but gradually. And this is how spiritual life is. You have to be patient, but you have to be enthusiastic at the same time.
Yes.
Okay, this is one of the most participants I've been in quite a while. So Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Don't have any more questions. We can part ways now.
Maharaj
Let
also.
me offer my obeisances unto you all.
Vanchakalpatarubhyasya कृपासिन्धुभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः।
Srila
Krishna Maharaj Janardan Swami Maharaj ki jai.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Accept my humble obeisance.
for your
Haribol.
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 Okay, we will end the call here. Thank you so much, dear devotees, for joining. Wish you all a very happy Sankranti. Hare Krishna.
Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Pranam to all.